Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the playground. It is so wonderful to have you in this space with me. This is our dedicated place to nurture curiosity, to gently question the automatic default settings of our life, and playfully, carefully, and courageously explore what it means to construct a life that it truly feels like it belongs to us. The entire concept of a playground is that it is a domain built for experimentation, not for a polished performance. It is the one environment where you can be very messy and discover new things. It's where you don't have to be perfect, but simply to try things out. It's a space where you can trip, get scraped on your knee, and pull yourself back up without a crowd watching you, without a scorecard, and with the ultimate liberty to be beautifully and perfectly human. And today we're going into the depths of a cultural obsession of a goal that it can look like the ultimate form of success, can present its unshakable stability, and it is often praised by our society. It's the absolute pinnacle of being successful and responsible. But from the inside, it can feel like a beautifully decorated cage. We're going to talk about financial freedom and the invisible architecture that it keeps it so profoundly separated from emotional freedom. We're going to explore why, even when you're hitting the number, paid off all the debt, and build the portfolio, you might have this persistent, nagging sensation that you're still not free. You hold the belief that you are the primary architect of your own financial destiny. And when you look at the evidence on paper, you absolutely are. You are a thoughtful person. You are diligent. You did all the requires, all the research. You shoulder the responsibility. That responsibility of building a secure future with the immense seriousness. You learn the rules of the game. You save. You invested. You delay your gratification. From an external vantage point, the financial choices that you have made appear deliberated, strategic, and profoundly well considered. It is very likely that the people that observe your life and believe that you have it all figured it out. You follow the financial gurus. You did everything right. But if you are being profoundly, radically honest with yourself, in those quiet, unobserved moments, there is a different narrative playing out, isn't there? This isn't the sharp panic of a market crash or an unexpected bill. It is low, constant hum of anxiety, despite the stability that you have built. It is the marrow deep weariness that it comes from constantly monitoring, managing, and maintaining a version of security that it now feels hollow out and draining, so draining that you cannot even sleep. It's the quiet fear that it creeps when you look at your net worth, of a number you once dream of, and you feel nothing. It's the somatic, the gut level knowledge that you have constructed a magnificent cage of financial security and you have methodically locked yourself inside. It's that persisting nagging question that it haunts the silent spaces. If I'm so financially secure, why do I don't feel free? Even with all the meticulous planning, with all the spreadsheets and retirement calculators, the life pain free isn't quite the one you were meant to inhabit. If this is already starting to feel deeply familiar, give this video a like and please let me know in the comments what is the specific area of your financial life that it feels most like a cage right now. Is it the job that you have kept to maintain your lifestyle? The pressure of managing your investments? I would genuinely love to hear from you. And I can assure you that simply putting it into words, it will make someone else feel a little less isolated. This is the story of how the most capable and responsible people among us can end up pursuing a version of financial freedom that it is, by its very nature, a trap. A life is steered not by your own authentic inner guidance, but by the ancient and heritage programming about money. We never consciously agreed to constantly follow that programming, but we're following without even noticing. And far more importantly, this is the story on how you can locate the key to that cage and finally begin to work of building a life where financial well-being and emotional freedom are one and the same. Let's travel back in time to a significant crossroad. You have faced a decision that has fundamentally shaped your financial reality. Perhaps it was the choice between two different life paths. One of these paths was by all measures the correct one. It was the prestigious career track: doctor, lawyer, engineer, executive. It promised a high salary, predictable salary, exceptional benefits, and a clear linear path to wealth and accumulation. This was the path that you can announce to your family and watch them be relieved by your choice and take such a pride on your decision. It was the one that it will shine on your resume, the one that it looked perfect, perfect on the paper. The other path was an undeniable gamble. It might have been starting your own business, pursuing a creative passion like art or writing, or taking a lower paying job. A nonprofit whose mission ignited something within. The work itself felt vibrant and full of meaning. But the financial future it promised was a gigantic, terrifying question mark. There was no clear path to a seven-figure net worth, only a compelling first step into the unknown. So you did what any intelligent, responsible person would do. You open up your laptop and launch a new spreadsheet. You constructed a fortress of logic around the decision, the pros and the cons, focusing heavily on income potential, the market stability, and a retirement projection. You mapped out the 5, 10, and 30-year financial outcome for both paths. And after all the analysis, you make the correct choice. You choose the path of least resistance to a financial security, the one that minimized immediate financial fear. For a time, it was perfect. It was acceptable. Perhaps it was even good. You felt the security of a steady paycheck. You watched your investment accounts grow. You bought the house, the car. You were making it. But now, years down the line, a very strange and unsettling phenomenon is taking place. That right choice, now it feels like a physical weight on your chest. The thought of a Monday morning approaching, it feels less like a fresh start and more like a slow motion surrender to the golden handcuff that you have fastened on yourself. That meticulously crafted spreadsheet is a distant memory, a monument to a form of a logic that it has guided you to a financial destination that it feels profoundly empty. The passion and thrilling uncertainty of the other riskier path now feels like a ghost that is haunting you, a flickering glimpse of an alternative life that you might have lived, one that it feels more aligned with who you are, even if it means less material wealth. You tell people that you are burnt out or just feeling the pressure. But what you're really trying to articulate, what that burnout is a symptom of, is the terrifying thought that you have meticulously built the wrong life on a foundation of a correct financial choices. You have become so accustomed to navigating your world by finding the right answer, to achieving financial success and being perceived as capable and in control, that the possibility that you have already made a catastrophic, unfixable mistake feels utterly unbearable. When a friend approaches you for financial guidance, you are brilliant. Your advice is logical, insightful, and clear. But when the focus is on your own life, the prospect of dismantling the very structure that you have carefully constructed and admitting to yourself and to the world that your financial security isn't making you happy is infinitely more terrifying than the thought of continuing to live a life that it feels hollow. You appear to be free, but you feel completely trapped. Your very sense of self has become dependent upon upholding the correct financial choices that you already made. Your life has transformed into a masterpiece of maintenance of that income or the assets or a certain lifestyle, a fortress built from the bricks of logic and the mortar of societal expectations. All of it designed to keep you out of one terrifying primal entity, the truth of your own unhappiness. You are living what we can accurately describe as a fear based financial life. And when you are in that state, you do not possess real freedom. Because genuine freedom isn't about having a flawless balance sheet. Real freedom is possessing the courage to admit what is not working in the present life and trusting that you have the resilience and resourcefulness to navigate whatever it comes next, regardless of the number in your bank account. The trap that you found yourself in is so profoundly insidious because it's expertly camouflaged as wisdom. It is constructed from the very financial scripts and at age we are taught to live by from our earliest years. Money buys happiness. More is always better. Don't take risk. Always have a 5-year plan. Make the smart choice. You weren't being lazy or careless. In fact, you were the absolute opposite. You were a master architect of your financial life, and you took that role with the most seriousness possible. You followed the blueprint you were handed by society, by your family, by your education. Work hard, be responsible, be rational. Suppress your feelings in favor of logic. And for a very long time, this strategy was effective. It got you to this exact point of apparent financial success and stability. But here's the absolute core of the problem. The central illusion that we all have been sold. You mistook logical financial choices for life aligned choices. You operated under the deep seated assumption that the most rational, defensible financial path was also the truest path for you. You believed that a pro and con list of retirement calculator could reveal the secrets of your own soul. A fear based financial life is the one that you live primarily to avoid negative outcomes like poverty, instability, or judgment, rather than to consciously move towards a positive desired experience. It is a fundamentally defensive strategy for living. It is akin to trying to navigate a vast, beautiful, and mysterious landscape with a map that it only shows you where the dragons of financial ruin are hidden. And if you use this map, you will become an expert of avoiding dragons and you will almost certainly survive it. But you will never, ever stumble upon the hidden waterfalls, the very treasure. You are living not from a place of genuine desire, passion, or curiosity, but from a deep, often unconscious, and all consuming need to feel safe and beyond reproach. On the surface, this feels like security. The issue isn't the logic itself. Logic is a powerful and necessary tool for financial planning. The problem arises when avoiding fear is the only script that you know how to run. When being safe and sensible with your money becomes the only metrics that you use to measure your life's worth. This constitutes the invisible cage, built from sensible investment portfolios, secure career paths that lack vitality, and stable lifestyles that they feel draining. It is a very comfortable, well-appointed cage. From the outside, it doesn't even show like it's a cage at all. You don't look at it as a cage. It looks like a palace. People look at your life with admiration. They ask for your advice on how they can achieve it too, because you make a smart, strategic financial move. Or you might even find yourself advising others to follow the same path, because it is the only path that you ever known to be reliable and safe. But it is still a cage. And you know it's a cage because of the profound hollowness that inevitably follows a life lived in a perfect accordance with financial logic. You know it's a cage when you look at your bank account and feel a flicker of pride followed by a wave of emptiness. When the arrival of the weekend does not bring joy, but rather quiet, sinking dread of the demanding job. You know it's a cage when you hear yourself saying yes to another soul crushing project for the money, while every single cell in your body is screaming a desperate, a silent no. You know it's a cage when the thought of taking a real, incalculated risk of choosing something purely different, but from your heart without a guaranteed financial return, it feels as though your entire world will collapse. If you make one single wrong move, or if you make that choice, everything will collapse. Does this concept of invisible script about money resonates with you? I'm genuinely curious what your personal script is telling you to do. Is it to be perfect? To be practical? Did you have to work extremely hard to be rich? Or the rich people are greedy? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I guarantee you, you are not the only one operating from that script. And seeing it, writing it out, can be the very first step towards rewriting it. And if these are the kind of inherited scripts you want to explore more deeply, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of this conversation, because this isn't freedom. This is a highly polished, exceptionally high-functioning, socially applauded survival strategy. It is a life that has been meticulously organized not around joy or purpose, but around the constant vigilant avoidance of fear, the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of uncertainty, the fear of being wrong. For so many of us, this entire pattern of behavior is the output of a program that it was installed a very, very long time ago. We learn implicitly or explicitly that our safety, our worth, and our acceptance were conditional upon making the right financial choices. So you sit here now in this beautiful, secure life that you have selected with such a care, and you have this nagging, persistent question that it haunts the quiet moments. Is this it? You follow the recipe for wealth to the letter, but the final dish tastes like nothing at all. This brings us to a fundamental illusion that we all tend to buy into. It's the belief that when we finally secure the right income, hit the right net worth, or paid off the right mortgage, we will arrive of a permanent state of peace and happiness. Psychology has a specific name for this deeply human and deeply flawed belief, the arrival fallacy. The feeling of being trapped by your own good financial choices is not personal failing. Let me repeat that because it is crucial. It is not a personal failing. It is a predictable, logical outcome of the system that you were taught to master. In order to break free, you must first understand exactly how the cage is wired. It is constructed upon three core principles that work in concert to keep you stuck in the loop. The first wire is the one that we have just named, the arrival fallacy. This is the deeply ingrained and mistaken belief that achieving a certain external financial goal will finally deliver you to a state of lasting happiness. It's that I will be happy when the game we all play. I will be happy when I'm debt free. I will be happy when I have $1 million. I will be happy when I can finally retire. We structure our entire lives on this belief, like a donkey chasing a carrot on a stick. We imagine that when we finally get to the carrot, the financial milestone, we will be able to stop running and feast forever in a sun-drenched field of contentment. But that is not what happened, isn't it? You got the promotion, you hit the saving goals, you achieved the very financial target that you were certain that was the key to freedom. And it felt wonderful for a moment. There was a rush of relief, of pride. But then, sooner than you ever expected, that feeling began to fade. The novelty wore off. You look up and you realize there it is, a simple, newer, bigger carrot dangling even further in the distance. A higher net worth, a bigger house, a more luxurious vacation. The profound suffering here comes not from fading off the feeling, but from what we make it mean. We internalize this experience is a personal failure. What is wrong with me? I have everything I ever wanted financially. I should be happier. We don't question the validity of the game. We question the core of who we are. And so when we double down on maintaining the cage, believing that we just need to decorate it better or add a new, more expensive wing, this leads us directly to the second wire, the psychological engine that forces us to keep running in place, the hedonic treadmill. This is also known as hedonic adaptation, and it is the well-documented theory that we each have a kind of internal happiness thermostat with a default set point. When you achieve something wonderful, like a big raise or a market windfall, you get a rush of joy, and your internal temperature spikes. But your brain, like a good home thermostat, quickly and efficiently works to bring the temperature back down to what is familiar, the baseline setting. This is an essential adaptive trait that it helps us recover from tragedy when we lose a family, when we lose a friend, when we lose a pet. But it also means that the major financial win, the life you once dreamed of, inevitably becomes the new mundane normal. The salary that once seems incredibly impressive is now just your salary. The phenomenon of lifestyle creep is the hedonic treadmill in action. As an income arises, our expectations and desires go up too, resulting in no permanent gain in happiness. It is called a treadmill for a very good reason. You are running, earning, achieving, and then running faster to earn and achieve more. But your internal emotional scenery never actually changes. You are expending immense energy, but not going nowhere new. For high achievers, this is a particularly cruel and insidious trap. Your entire identity is built on the foundation of making good choices and succeeding financially. So when you find yourself feeling empty and numb on this treadmill, your first instinct is not to get off. Your instinct is to believe that you just need to run faster inside the cage you have already built. That a bigger financial achievement will finally break the cycle. Have you ever experienced this? Think about a time that you got a raise or a bonus, and then a few weeks or months later, you felt a surprising sense of nothing. And emptiness is your baseline expenses had simply risen to meet the new income. If you feel comfortable sharing it, tell us about it in the comments. It is an incredible, powerful way to see how universal and fundamentally human this experience truly is. Now, let's look at the deepest, most primal wire. This is the one that powers the entire system. Let's talk about your nervous system. What we label is feeling trapped or burnout or financial anxiety. It is often physiological root, a body that is stuck in a low-grade chronic state of fight or flight. Think about your body as having a sophisticated and ancient home security system. Your autonomic nervous system. It has a gas pedal, the sympathetic nervous system, designed for fight or flight, and a brake, the parasympathetic nervous system, for rest and digest. When a real tangible threat shows up, a car that almost hit you, the alarm blasts through your entire system, flooding you with adrenaline and cortisol. This is brilliant. It saves your life. But here's the problem. For many of us, especially those who grew up with financial insecurity, they were taught to constantly worry about money. Our internal alarm system has become painfully and hypersensitive. A past experience of a debt, a family bankruptcy, or a moment of deep shame around money acted like a break-in. Now the system is so vigilant that it treats the chronic pressure of your current financial life with the same level of panic as a home invasion. The abstract pressure to maintain your portfolio becomes the burglar. The fear of a market downturn becomes the burglar. The quiet dread of your safe but soul-crushing job becomes the burglar. Because these threats are abstract, internal, and constant, your alarm system never fully shuts off. You end up living in a state where the sirens are always quietly wailing in the background. This is the hidden engine of your feeling of being trapped. You have learned to interpret that internal alarm, the tighten in your chest, the knot in your stomach when opening a credit card bill, the shallow breathing when thinking about retirement. It's a sign that you are fundamentally unsafe. That something is terribly wrong with your financial life, even when on paper you are perfectly secure. That feeling is not just in your head, it's a physiological reality. Your body is trying to protect you from a threat that it cannot distinguish from a real life or a debt catastrophe. This is precisely why you cannot just think or budget your way out of feeling trapped by money. If you recognize this persistent pattern in yourself and want a dedicated expert support in rewiring the system, this is the exact work I do in my coaching practice. You can learn more at therealnextlevel.com. For everyone here, the core issue remains. You are trying to talk logic to a blaring secure alarm, and that is the very heart of the agitation you feel. After hearing all of this, you might be feeling a little bit discouraged. Great. So I'm living in a cage that I built for myself. I'm stuck on happiness treadmill that it goes nowhere. And my body internal alarm system is broken and stuck on high alert about money. How am I ever supposed to feel free? This is the real work. And more importantly, the real hope begins. The answer isn't to devise a better, more intricate, more logical plan to accumulate more wealth. It is to finally recognize that the key to the cage was never a number in your bank account in the first place. It has been in your pocket all along. The full solution is more analysis, more spreadsheets, more market research, more 5-year projections, more thinking and ruminating. The true solution is to subtract the external noise so that you can finally hear the internal signal. The path to genuine freedom is about building a sense of profound safety inside of your own body. Instead of constantly trying to perfect and control the financial world outside of it. Think about it this way. You cannot control the markets, but you can learn to read and trust your inner compass. True freedom isn't having a portfolio that it never goes down. It's trusting that you can skillfully navigate your life, bull and bear markets and all. So, what did this actually look like in a day-to-day practice? It involved three fundamental shifts in your orientation to yourself, your money, a practice sometimes referred to as somatic finances. The first shift is to move from analyzing your finances to turning into your body. For years, your nervous system has been the secret silent driver of your financial decisions and anxieties. It does not need a better escape. It needs to know that it is safe now and that you are finally listening to its signal. Before you try to figure out your next big investment or a career move, just sit. Find a quiet space where you won't be interrupted. Close your eyes. Bring to mind the act of checking your bank account without any judgment, without attaching a story. Simply notice what is happening in your body. Does your chest tighten or expand? Your shoulders relax or they move towards your ears? Is there a sensation of lightness and opening or a sense of heaviness and constriction? Now, clear it from your mind. Think about spending money on an experience that you truly value, like a trip with a loved one. What is the sensation now? These are not woo woo feelings. This is your body intelligence, giving you the most honest data about what wealth and value truly means to you, beyond numbers. The second shift is to tell the truth about what you're really afraid of. The feeling of being trapped by money is not just about unfulfilling job. It's about the underlying fear that is truly running the show. It is like turning on the light in a dark, scary room that you have been avoiding. Pause and ask yourself with a genuine curiosity, what am I truly afraid that it will happen if I earn less money? And do not stop at the first surface level answer. Go deeper. Okay? And if that happens, what am I afraid that it will mean about me? When you finally turn on the light, you will see that the monster in the corner, it was just a pile of clothes. A fear story like, I will be seen as a failure, or I will prove that I'm not good enough after all, or it's too late for me to change my life, or I won't be worthy of love. Once you can see the story for what it is, a story, not an objective fact, you realize you possess the power to write a new one. The third, and perhaps the most radical shift, is to practice one small tangible act of trusting your inner signal over your financial logic. You have to act your way into this new way of being. This is exactly like building a muscle at the gym. You start with one small manageable weight and then you build trust through consistent reps. And if you are deciding between two items at the store, one cheaper and one that it truly brings you a sense of joy, pause for 10 seconds. Instead of automatically defaulting to the sensible choice, check in and see what is your body actually wants. And if you can afford it without causing harm, following the quiet desire is one rep. And if you feel a sudden impulse to donate one small amount to a cause that you care about it, just do it without needing to calculate a long-term impact into your retirement goals. That is one rep. If you are at a restaurant and your heart wants the expensive dish, but your mind is screaming about the budget, just once let your heart win. That's one rep. If your body is screaming that it's exhausted from work, allow yourself to take a genuine break and step away from your email instead of pushing through to prove your worth. That is one rep. Each time you perform one of these small acts, you are casting a vote for self-trust. You are actively, tangibly proving to your internal security system that listening to your authentic self does not lead to catastrophe. You are slowly, patiently chipping away at the bars of the cage. If this section was particularly helpful for you, please consider sharing this video with someone in your life who might need to hear this message. This is the real choice, the one you get to make moment by moment. The central question of your life slowly changes from what is the right financial thing to do to what it feels true and aligned for me right now. It is the deep embodied understanding that your unique, authentic path is forged by the sum of thousands of small aligned choices, not by a single monumental incorrect financial one. This frees you from the paralyzing fear of having made a wrong move in the past. You learn to believe that you are resourceful enough to handle any outcome, which releases you from the impossible, exhausting task of trying to control the financial future. You finally internalize that clarity comes from small embodied actions, not from endless circular thoughts. This new way of being is better not because it's easier at first. It will feel much, much harder and more uncertain than the following of a spreadsheet. It is better because it leads to an aligned life, not just a correct one. It leads to a sustainable energy, not a life sentence of a chronic burnout. It turns freedom from a distant financial destination that you have to earn into an experience that you can have it right here, right now. This journey from analysis to alignment, from external net worth to internal self worth, from a constant feeling of being trapped to a life experience of freedom, is the quiet, courageous, and deeply personal work of a lifetime. It is the sacred process of unlearning the financial scripts that help you survive your past so that you can finally learn the patterns that it will help you truly live in your present. It is about the profound and liberating realization that true wealth isn't located just in your head or your bank account. It is distributed through your entire being, waiting to be listened to. If this message is landing for you, if you feel that quiet stirring of recognition deep in your chest, I want to invite you to take one single second right now. Just pause with me. If it feels okay and safe for you right now, take a deep, conscious breath. For just this moment, you don't have to fix your finances. You don't have to figure out your retirement. You just need to be here, safe in your own body. The part of you that is so deeply exhausted from upholding a financial life that it doesn't quite fit deserves this moment of peace. Your freedom is not hiding in some future, higher net worth. It's not in a different job or a different investment strategy. It is right here. It is right now. It is in this breath and in the next one and the one after that. If this is the kind of conversation you need more in your life, please make sure you are subscribed to this channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss our next time together here at the playground. Give this video a like if it helped you in some way today. And for those of you who want to take this to the next level and work deeper to dismantle the cage, you can explore my coaching opportunities at therealnextlevel.com. Remember, you are not broken or a failure. You are not truly trapped. You have just been expertly living by a financial map that is leading you into a beautiful cage of your own design. But you still hold the key and you get to choose it in every moment how to use it. You get to choose to listen to you. Be gentle with yourself. Thank you so much for joining me today. I will see you on the next episode. Yellow diamonds in the